So as you all know what approval workflow means. So whenever term approval matrix comes in your mind, the first thing which comes in our mind is there's something, a process, like one person needs an approval for the second person, the higher authority, just to go ahead with a certain task or certain entries when it comes to the books. So in our RealBooks, books of accounts, there are certain types of approval matrix that can be defined. So to enable the approval matrix in our RealBooks financial module, first we need to log into financial module, and then we need to go to settings, configuration. And then there is an option of workflow and approvals under features general tab. This feature allows you to configure a predefined configuration of approval matrix as per your convenience and as per your requirement. So coming back to the menus, we need to go to masters, accounts, and then you will be finding an option of approval workflow. So we'll just hit create, and you need to define a rule. Now we can define the rule based on our voucher. We can define the rule based on our documents. We can define the rule based on our ledger master. So this definition defines that any voucher or any document, any ledger created by a certain user or at a certain combination, that needs to get approved by a specific user, and so on. So first we will go with the voucher part. So for example, I will set a workflow for receipt vouchers. So I'll just type as receipt approval workflow. And we can just give the event name as create and update. That simply means like you want an approval matrix to happen only at the time of creation of entries, or in case even if the entry has been created and it is edited, if the edit is allowed post approval. For any update, you want the approvee to get notified, or the approvee should know that the approval needs to be done for particular edits or not. So for example, I'm just updating both create and update. And now I need to set up the rule type. Now rule type over here, I'll just click as voucher type and select the voucher named as receipt. Now you can define greater than equals to part over here. For example, any receipt or any entries which is beyond 10,000, you want to get notified only for those kind of entries. You need not bother about, okay, any entries which is being updated in our books with below 10,000, you don't want the approval matrix to fire, you do have the choice to do that. So for example, I'm just updating the amount as greater than equals to 10,000. So similar to greater than equal to, you do have an option of less than equal to also. So I will opt for greater than equal to. Then I can define the user, that if for any specific user, for example, over here, I am defining it as if kind of receipt entries which has been posted in my voucher type of receipt and done, created or edited by the user as if needs to get approved from a specific user. So first half of the page defines you the input part, that which particular person or which user or what activity will trigger for the approval matrix. Second page part of the page defines that who will be the approvee for that particular workflow. So I am defining the approval workflow name as, again, receipt approval workflow. And I'm updating the username as Voucher. So these users, as you can see, users are already predefined in my RealBooks. These user needs to be present in my RealBooks, then only you will be having the search option over here. And then there is an option of email notification, whether you need in your mail ID or not, your registered mail ID. And there comes 3 extra options where you can choose whether you want to allow to update after final approval. For example, in this scenario, if Asif has created any entry, any receipt entry and Varsha has approved, then nobody is allowed to edit that particular voucher. If it is disabled, same thing goes for allow delete after final approval, whether you want to block delete for entries after your final approval or not, you do have a choice for that. And allow print after final approval. So currently I'm not making any changes over here, and I'll hit submit. So my rule is defined. Currently, as you can see, I am already in the username as Asif. So any receipt entry which has been updated by Asif, it needs to get approved by Voucher user. So I will quickly change a segment. I'll go to transactions, accounts, voucher. So over here, I've selected the voucher type as receipt. I'll just select any party. Over here, I will update the amount. Since I updated the amount, that any amount, any receipt which is greater than 10,000 needs to hit my approval. So over here, I'm updating the amount as 18,000 and the amount probably in bank. Then you need to select the instrument type, probably in check. Check number updated. Then we'll just hit add. And I will update the narration as test, receipt, approval. Now I'll simply click submit. Okay. So the entry has been fully updated in my books. For a change, I'll make one more entry so that I can show a specific combination over here. So again, I am selecting another entry. I'm selecting party, then selecting an amount of, for example, 8,000, which is below 10,000. So over here, I'll update the bill as T4, create. This time I'll update the amount as cash. I will update it as test 2 and hit submit. So I've booked 2 receipt entries from the user Asif. Now I'll move to the user Varsha so that I can see that how my approval matrix is reflecting on my dashboard. So this is the user as Varsha Bhai, as you can see on right top corner. I will just simply refresh my screen. So this is the third one, which I created right now in front of you. And it says receipt approval workflow. I will click. So the details I updated at the time of creating the entry, all details are reflecting. Now the user can either update the comments or he can update the approve or reject. Now it's up to the approvee whether he or she wants to approve the entry or he or she wants to reject the entry. Okay, I'll just approve one entry and I'll show you. Okay. Since I had only one entry to be approved, so the moment I clicked on approve, automatically my screen redirected to my home screen. So now if I go to reports, accounts, daybook, and select the receipt voucher type, I will be finding 3 entries. So 2 entries were updated in front of you, which was 18,000 and 8,000. And in my 18,000, if I go, because this was the entry which was approved by me, if I click over here, first of all, you will be seeing the entry is locked. And the reason for locking is saying that workflow lock. I configured in my masters that if the final approval is done, the user is not allowed to edit the entry. So it says approval lock and nobody is allowed to approve this, unlock this entry and make any changes currently. So I'll hit approval history and over here it says this was the user. The checkbox says tick mark that this particular entry is already approved. So I'll quickly create one more voucher of receipt, which is of, say, suppose 75,000. And I'll hit create. And then I will book the amount in my bank. I'll say check the name number and I will click add. So my entry is booked. I will go to my daybook. Okay. So in my screen, if you can see clearly, in my left panel, if you can see the left panel, there is some green and red coming up over here. Now, what is the meaning of green and red coming against the each and every transactions? So these greens are the ones which is already approved entries or need not need any approval. The red ones are the one which are still lying under approving or against approval. So these are the entries. So now how to bifurcate? In my daybook, if you can see, there are 4 transactions. And once you go to options, you will be having an option of approved and unapproved option. So in case if you just want to see how many approved transactions are there in your daybook, you can simply uncheck the approved checkbox and you will be finding approved transactions. And in case if you want to check only the approved ones and you need not bother about the approved one, then you can simply uncheck this. The screen will reflect only those transactions which are clearly unapproved, still lying for approval. The same goes for your ledger report as well. So I'll quickly just go through the ledger report. I am just selecting the party ledger. I'm going to reports, accounts, daily reports, and ledger. So I will just select this ledger and I'll hit run. Okay. Over here, again, there is 2 options as approved and unapproved. Now, if you just uncheck the option of unapproved, you will find only those transactions reflecting which is already approved. And in case if you want to see only the unapproved transactions for a particular party or a ledger, you can just select this option under the options menu. I will just switch to Voucher user. I will again go to my dashboard. And now again, I will see my receipt approval workflow. And in case if you have any issues or you want to reject this particular entry, then you can just click on reject. And at the time of reject, the system will ask you to leave a comment. So leaving the comment as bill number is incorrect. So if I click on bill number is incorrect, I'll click add. The comment is updated. And now if I click as reject, automatically the transaction gets rejected. And if I go to the ASIF user, again, I'm back switching to my ASIF user. As you can see in right top corner, I'll see the dashboard. This says that the receipt voucher is rejected. Now, which one is rejected? You need to click over there and then you can have all the details of the transaction which has been rejected over here. Now, if in case you want to correct the entry, so you can go in that entry and you can clearly see the reason why it was rejected. So you can see a cross symbol coming against Voucher saying that the entry was rejected over here. Now, once you click on the comments chat, or the details will be reflecting that the bill number is incorrect. You will be having a proper clarity that, okay, this was rejected due to this reason, and you can approve. So this was about the simple accounting voucher transactions. I would like to show the ledger report, the ledger master part, since I have already created the ledger master approval workflow. So again, I will go to masters approval workflow and edit. So this is ledger master approval, which was already created by me. So I will just show you in edit how does it looks. So over here I have selected ledger master, and who is supposed to create the ledger and who is supposed to update the user. I mean, who is supposed to approve that particular ledger. Those details are predefined in my masters. Now, in case if any ledger which is created by ASIF, for example, I'll go to masters, accounts, ledger, create. So for example, I will be going as Utkarsh Private Limited. I will update the group as sundry debtors. The moment I select sundry debtors, the ledger category is marked party. The party info reflects over here and hit save. Okay, so my ledger master is already created by the user ASIF. Now I am switching again back to the Voucher user, and I will just refresh my screen. As you can see, it says ledger master, which is yet to be approved by Voucher. So I'll click over here. 4 entries. This is the entry. This is the ledger master which I created in front of you. So I will click over here, and if I want to view the ledger, I can view the ledger. And accordingly, if you want to approve the entry, you can approve the ledger. If If you want to delete that particular ledger, then you can simply go to delete ledger. That this is not supposed to be approved. This you need to delete. So since ledger is already under approval, you would not like any of the members of your organization to create any transaction related to that ledger. So we have a proper control on this. Now I will just simply click on approve ledger. Do you want to approve this ledger? Yes, I would say yes. My ledger is already approved. Now again, if I go back to transactions, accounts, voucher, and select the ledger, my ledger is reflecting for creating the entry. So this was about my ledger master. The same goes for document attachment part also. I'll go back to masters, accounts, approval workflow, and edit. So over here, I have created one approval matrix, where I have defined that any entries which is being posted in my segment Khargar by the user Asif for the voucher type as payment, which is greater than 500, needs to get approved by Varsha user. So over here, any entries now, in case, since I have mentioned that any entries which has been updated in Khargar needs to flow for the approval matrix for payment voucher. So I'll create one more entry which is in Khargar. I will select the voucher type as payment and the same party. And again, I'll update the amount of, say, suppose 7900. And the bill, again, I will update it as T870 and T871. Okay, before I hit create, you will be finding that I do have bills in my screen for tagging, but I'm still not tagging. But there is one checkbox is reflecting and the other one is reflecting as an orange ball. Now, what is this orange symbol all about? If the hover shows that this particular bill is still unapproved. So any bill or any entry which is being created with a new reference, you cannot tag it unless and until the final approval is done. So in case if you're seeing in your screen anything which is you are unable to check box tick over there for just tagging your bills, the reason is that the hover says unapproved bill. That means you're not allowed to tag the bill unless and until it has been finally approved by the respective approvee. So I'll now click on create. And now I will update the amount as in cash, for example. And this says test. And I am good to go. So, okay. So whatever transactions I had to do in Asif user, I am done. Now again, I'll come back to the user as Varsha, which says in my right top corner. I will go to my home screen. My entry, which was updated, the workflow name was payment Khargar. So I'll click over there. Two transactions are reflecting. This was the one which was created earlier by me. So I'll just simply approve. Attachment, which is there in the entry at the time of creation or updation and so on. My attachments will be reflecting in my screen at the time of approving the entry, so that you can have a quick reference of the attachment and the entry parallelly if you want to. So I'll click approve and I'll hit for the second. So this was the entry for, it was reflecting it as bill. So now I'll click on approve. So all my entries which I was supposed to approve, reject, all the transactions which I was supposed to do, it is done, it's over. So over here in the same screen, in the second half of the page, you're viewing that status approve count. So on today's date, on 5th of August 2022, how many entries did I approve and what was the count? So if I click on this date, I will be finding a list of entries which was approved by me and on which date. So whatever options is reflecting in your screen accordingly for a specific combination, for any type of combination, which you can see the drop downs are available, you can just opt it and define and predefine in your RealBooks, and accordingly it will fire the way it needs to be as per the definition done in the screen. If anyone has any confusions, query, they can come up. So yeah, over to you.
Vasha, I just want to confirm one thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, if any data on entry operator has passed one entry, and if it has not been approved yet, so will it be posted or in the like the final statements like trial balance and all? So will it be visible or it will be visible after only after approval?
So it will be visible. I mean, only the ledger masters in the ledger case, it will not be reflecting in my books. But in case of voucher entries, the entries will be reflecting in my books. And that's the reason I do have that option of approved and unapproved part in my ledger report and our day book coming up over there. But the entry will get posted in your books.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So we can have our multiple approval option also. I mean, like in my approval workflow, if you want to define, you can define your different users also. Currently, what did I do? I did only with user 1 and user 2. So in case if any entry which is being posted by user 1 needs to be approved by user 2 and 3 altogether, there are certain levels of approval that also can be defined in your system over here. So the way you want all types of combinations with greater than equal to, less than equal to, with cost center, the ledger group with the proper combinations, yeah, that can be done in the approval matrix. So I am moving ahead with the second topic of the day, which says document attachment part. Okay. So when we document attachment part, so today's policy or today's RealBooks part, I mean, the main interesting feature of RealBooks is the document attachment feature. We always say go paperless, because we don't want everyone to maintain a physical documents or records in their offices and just keep on searching at the time of audit. So we don't want you to always get into those stuffs. So what do we have? We have the document attachment feature in our RealBooks, as you have already seen for in 1 or 2 transactions in the screen. So the document attachment is something at the time of entry only you can attach that document, and you can book the entry. So at any given point of time, after 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, if you're referring the books, you can always see the documents in your books, and you need not search for documents in your office. Okay, where is it? In which shelf it is? So you do not bother about that. So how many document feature is there? There are around 3 types of document feature available in our RealBooks. One is drag and drop, one is your manual doc creation and updation, and the third one goes with the DropBox. The DropBox integration, the once the DropBox integration is done, and then accordingly the document needs to flow in our RealBooks, that part is also available in our system. So how to proceed with that? We need to first go to settings, configuration, and you'll be finding one option as document. Now, these are all with respect to the 2 points which I said, the manual doc creation and the DropBox creation. But in case, since we always run short of time, so we'll be wanting everything to be ready to serve or ready to be done, and you need not worry about creating the documents and so on. So you can just quickly accounts, daybook, daily reports daybook, and if you click on search, for example, if you open this entry, if you click control spacebar, the page gets divided into 2 halves, and there is an option of drag and drop over here. So now how drag and drop works, it's as simple as you just need to switch to the folder where you have already attachments available in your system, and you can just simply drag, like paperless. I will just drag over here. So my document is ready for attachment, and accordingly, I will just attach the document over here and I will hit submit. So the document is already attached. It just takes a fraction of seconds, few while for conversion, because the image or any format which we update in our RealBooks, it takes a fraction of minutes to get converted in a specific desired format and then get attached in my books. So if you come back after a couple of minutes or so, you can always see the document attached in your books. So as you can see, the symbol is already ready for which is already attached with my entry. And if I click over here, the document will get loaded over here. So as I said, it will take a fraction of a minute just to get converted. So here it is. So you can see the document which you updated in the system, it will reflect over here. And it is always available for your ready reference at the time of audit. Also, after 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, come back to this particular entry and you want to refer that what was the bill number, whether it was correct or not. All details, you need not search for the physical staffs in your office. You can always come over here and check the document, whether it is attached or not. And then accordingly, you can refer, okay, this was the attachment. So, okay, the entry was updated correctly. So this was the feature for drag and drop part. Now coming up to the manual part. Now we have two types of manuals coming up over here. Now I'll again go back to settings, configuration, document creation. Now there is two drop downs over here, that automatically only, automatic with image code, manual. Now what automatic only and automatic with image code or manual means? Automatically is as simple as that. Or the moment you upload the document in your books, automatically the document should get created in your system. You need not worry about creating or updating any creating the documents just to attach in your folder. For example, if I go for the manual part first. So I have updated the document creations and manual part. I will go to now transactions, accounts, and document creation part. So there is an option of select images. Since I don't have any documents available for creation, so I will simply go to the new upload part reflecting on your right top corner. I will click on new upload. And there is an option of add files on your left bottom, which you need to click. And automatically it redirects to browse your system. And you can just simply select the documents over here, the images, and the PDFs as per whatever you require. You can just click select, and you need to click on start upload again, which is available in your left bottom corner. So it has automatically started processing. So once the processing is done, you need to wait for a couple of minutes so that the document gets converted in your system. So how it is getting converted? If you go to reports, accounts, documents, and there is a list of uploaded files over here. Excuse me. So these were the documents which I updated. So as you can see, whether it is converted or not, it will be reflecting as yes or no. In case if it is already converted, that means it is ready for the document creation part, is ready for the document you imported in your RealBooks. And if it still says no, then that means you need to wait for a couple of more minutes so that it get processed and converted and is ready for the document creation part in your system. So right now all the documents is ready for the creation in the books. So again, come back to document entry part. I will click on select images. I will hit go. All the 4 entries are reflecting over here. I will just click on control and select that entry and hit open. So all 4 entries are reflecting over here, whatever I imported in the system. So once if you click, it automatically gets selected. If you again click back, it automatically gets deselected. If you want to create a document out of two images altogether. Like for example, I have selected two images, which is of bookkeeping and BRS. Then accordingly, I can give the doc title as paperless. And this is the segment. Okay, now you would always like to have a track like these documents are only and only specified for one specific branch and it does not belong to any other branch. So you can have a proper control in your document creation page itself. Like if you select over here as Kharghar, then this document will be available only and only for entries which is being booked in Kharghar segment. You will not be having the access to attach that document in any other segment other than Kharghar. And then it comes to accounts. Now, whether you want to have the document attached in your inventory ka transactions or you want to have it attached in your accounts ka transaction, again, you do have a control of this over here. Now, digital storage, we have already have a predefined option as default. Now, digital storage, again, you can create a digital storage as per your convenience, which is again in your master's accounts and digital file over here. Now, in your digital file, you can just create for any specific month, like we do have monthly bills coming up, the recurring bills. So you can just have a predefined digital file. Okay, this is pertaining for the month of August 2022 and for the month of July 22. So that way you can have a proper control of all your images or documents which has been imported in your RealBooks for your ready reference. And the index number. Now, what is the importance of index number in your document creation part? So there are many and a number of documents in your office will be coming, like this is for electricity bill, this is for your invoices, this is for your XYZ things, expenses and incomes. So accordingly, you should have an indexing part, like, okay, there are 10 documents were there for importing, and for those 10 documents or entries were supposed to be booked on your RealBooks. So one person, if the indexing part is already there, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, all the serial numbers are there updated in your document. And if the document are being created in the form of index number, for example, 2022 0801, 2022 0802, and so on, just for having the index number of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there would be less chances of missing out any transactions or any entries in the books, because you would always be having a sequence like 1 to 10. If 9 is missing, then obviously you will be having only 9 entries in your books, because the index number 9 is missing in your books. Now you will be having a track or a record. You can quickly search that, okay, this index number is missing in my document report, then there must be replaced, or you need to search for that, and then accordingly you need to book the entry and create the document accordingly. So over here, I'll just create the index number as 001, and it is supposed to be attached in transactions, and I'll hit save. So since the two documents I created parallelly, so both the documents got attached with each other and it got updated, it got created in my document creation screen. Now again, I will create one more document as go paperless. And the same goes for example, this I will put it as Ajay, and the digital storage would be default and 001, and I will hit save. Sorry, the index number was already in use. I should have used it as 002. And my document is created. So one document, I will not create it right now, just so that I can just show you what the functionality is. I will go to transactions, vouchers, and hit as. So 3 documents are coming up over here. This was the document which I was searching for. So I will hit go auto. I will click over here and I'll click add. So I've added the entries. For example, I'm booking one entry. Cash. Test new and hit submit. So my document is already attached. So I created two documents which said go paperless and go paperless too. So I was finding only go paperless document over here and go paperless too, which I created further. It is not reflecting over here. This is because at the time of document creation page, I selected these segments. Now the Kharga segment was for go paperless document and go paperless 2 document was created for Ajay segment. So this again, you have a control of what document you want to see in one particular segment and what document you do not want to see in that particular document. So you do have that option. Now again, in case since you have already attached this particular document in one entry, and again you want to use this particular document for your other document, like you have bills coming in and then you pay for those bills, then you want those 2 documents to be updated for your both the entries, then you can again come back to your payment and select over here plus and the attached document. Since the document is already attached to one particular entry, so you need to click on attached document, and accordingly that those documents will be reflecting in the list over here. So since the document is already attached, now if you go back to your accounts, documents and tasks and documents and hit search, you will be finding that 2 images are over here and the voucher count is 1. So the moment you click on the voucher count, automatically the document, that particular click will redirect you to the entry in which this particular document is already attached. So in this way, again, you have a control of transactions that, okay, these many documents were there. The NAs are the one which is still yet to be attached in the entries, and the numbers coming up over here, like if the document is attached for more than 1 entries, then automatically those count will reflect. For example, if the document attached to 4 entries or 5 entries, the count will be reflecting as 5, and automatically the click will show all those 5 entries where this document is already available. So this was the manual process of document creation in the system. If we move ahead with settings, configuration, document, and if we move ahead for the automatic only, then you need not worry about creating the documents and so on. You can simply go to accounts and you can go to document creation, new uploads, add files. I will just select one and click on start upload. So the attachment is already uploaded. Now, if I go to reports, accounts, documents, so automatically the last line, as you can see, the bookkeeping one, which I imported recently, it automatically got created in my books with the name of file, which is already saved in my system. So this is the way you need not create, you need not worry about creating the document. My system will automatically create the document. So the parents are already available in your system. You can have a control of creating the document, for attaching the document and so on. And you can use this feature for your ready reference for all type of transactions, be it your inventory, be it your accounts, receipt, payment, sales, all type of transactions. The document attachment feature is available. And this will help you for the approval part also. So any query, any questions, if you have, then you can go ahead with this. And if you want me to emphasize on any certain feature or process once again, feel free to come and ask the query. Okay. So since we are talking about the document attachment features and all, you will always want to have a control of approval metrics, whether those documents are supposed to be created in your books of accounts or not, whether those are supposed to be approved or not. So we do have that feature also, as I said before also. So I'll just quickly show the document approval part as well. So I am going for the configurations and going for documents. I will again switch to manual. And then I'll again go to masters, accounts, and approval verb. I'll hit create and doc approval. So on the event of create, I will select the rule as Asif. I will select the workflow name as document approval. And I will select the user. Over here, I need to select the type as document and Asif and see. Okay, so my approval matrix is ready for the document approval part. Now I'm again switching the accounts. I'm back again in the username as Asif. I will then go back to transactions, accounts, and document creation part. Now I'll select the images if I do have. So I already have one document again in the system, which I created initially, and I didn't create the document for the same. I'll go for the select images part. I will hit go. I will select the document. And I will click on open. So till my document gets loaded. So my document is getting loaded. I will just type the document name as RealBooks logo. And again, I need to create the segment, accounts, digital storage is default. And the index number is 003. I will click on save. My document is created. Now again, I'll come back to the user as Vashavai. I'll go to my home screen. There is one approval coming as doc approval. I will hit over there. So what were the details which were updated in my system at the time of document creation? Those details will be reflecting over here. And accordingly, you can just either approve, or if you want to edit the document, all these details will be available in your screen, and accordingly the same rule follows again. If you want to approve that document, you want to reject the document, all details will be reflecting in your system. So for example, if I'm rejecting, I am updating as wrong digital file name, and I'll add and close the pop-up. I will click on reject. And then again, if I come back to my reports, documents in task and document list and search for the document over here, it says rejected. As you can see, the red panel coming up in my left side, you can see it's marked as red that this document has been rejected by the approval. So the same goes for, same like your vouchers, the same rule applies for your document feature as well. So yeah, this was all about the approval matrix and the document attachment feature in RealBooks. So the DropBox part is also there. We also have our YouTube channel over here, where we have explained the DropBox linking part in detail. So you can refer over there. And in case of any query, any questions, you can feel free to call our support team.
Varsha,
Yes, please go ahead.
डॉक्यूमेंट का जो यूजर क्रिएट किया है उसका डिटेल्स कहाँ से देखते हैं, वो एक बार दिखा पाएंगे?
Yeah, sure. So in my list, if you can see over here, we are having an option of approval history. If you click over the approval history, you will be finding that what was the approval history of this document. And the document creation part, if you want to see the user information, you can click on the user information part. Who created the document, when was it created, all the details will be reflected in your system. And if you want to have a filtration part of approved and approved, you can again have this option coming up over here. Hope that answers your query.
Yes, and for the drag and drop feature, where we are dragging the screenshot and you're updating it, for
Hmm.
that document also the user gets updated?
Yeah. So over here, I'll just show you once. I am just, I'm back again in the ASIF user, as you can see on the right top corner. I'll go to reports, accounts, daily reports, and daybook. I will go for the first entry. I will drag one document quickly over here. And I'll now hit submit. Now again, I'll come back to the user as Vaishnavi. So it will reflect over here in the screen in the Vaishnavi user. So yeah, this is the way how the drag and drop part or the approval matrix part will reflect for the documents as well as for our vouchers and inventory part as well. So if we have no queries related to the approval matrix and the document creation part or for anything which I discussed in today's session, then we would like to wind up for the day. Hope this helps you all to use RealBooks in a more user-friendly manner. Thank you. Thank you so much.